How's it going, everyone? Larry here with the Farmstead Way, and decided I wanted to make a video talking about tools. On a homestead, you're going to have equipment that's going to go down. You're going to have home repairs that you need to do yourself. I just worked on my zero turn because the tensioner spring broke, so we had to make some adjustments. And you all saw my EDC tools, but sometimes the smaller things on you are not enough, and you need to have a tool bag. Now, this setup has changed a lot for me over the years, and your setup might look different. So I do heating and cooling HVAC on mobile homes, as well as skirting and other general mechanical, and as well as industrial maintenance and fabrication. So if you're a carpenter, a plumber, your primary tools might look different. We do a little bit of everything, so our tools are pretty generalized. This is most of the stuff I got from Lowe's, and it's pretty simple. I've weeded out things that I have not needed and added things I have needed. So for the bag, it is a basic Cobalt backpack. I've used a bunch of different toolboxes over the years, everything from little tool rolls to little handheld things, all the way up to a big single sling shoulder bag. And this by far is my favorite setup because I hate it when you stack tools on each other and you have to dig. With this, there's compartments, you unzip it, bam, everything is right there. So let's get into this thing. So off on this side, I got a torpedo level because you need to make sure that things are flat, straight, and sometimes plumb. You can plumb things up with this. So that's the only thing that goes in there. On the outside, I've got, broke the zipper thing off. Come on. This pouch is for tape measures. I prefer the Stanley Fat Max. You can see all the numbers really good. This is another tool recommendation from my neighbor. And I've got this belt clip, and you can clip it onto there. So I've got my 6 foot on me at all times. I've got this 16, which is really good for about, if you're doing things that are, 10 foot and under, something that you need something decently big for. Then I've got a 25 foot. Say if you're building a deck and you need more than, obviously 16 feet, this works great. And then for measuring houses, I got the sweet little Stanley 100 footer. It's got the clip on the back so you can throw it on your belt. You're good to go. In here, I've got piddly stuff. I've got clamps for doing superheat and subcooling on HVAC systems. This sweet little Craftsman screwdriver set. It's really good for working on thermostat wires. And then here's piddly stuff. I got Allen wrenches and the like. Over in this side, I've got these set of Bosch drill bits, which are nice to have. And I always have pipe dope over here for gas lines and threaded elbows on A coils. It's just something I use every day, and it's just nice to have it. Easily accessible. I'll put this stuff away later. In the back top pocket here, sometimes it's got random junk in it, but I always try to keep a prying tool for prying things, and a cold chisel in case you have to chip out mortar, cinder blocks, things like that. So, super basic. Once again, things that I found out that I like to have. Now, if we get into the guts of the bag, it's all just basic hand tools. So this is kind of my first in bag in a sense. So in here is everything you normally need to take apart a furnace. Flat, Phillips, 1/4 inch bit driver, 5/16. Now I know a lot of HVAC guys love those little drills, but those things get expensive, and if you lose it, it sucks. With these, if I lose any one of these pieces, I can easily replace it. Now, some people would say, why don't you just get an all-in-one that has all these things? One, the all-in-ones are good, but if you lose bits, then they're gone. If you have someone on the job site borrow a tool, the whole thing's gone. And normally the 5/16 and 1/4 bit drivers are not meant for a lot of torque. These are. So on there, I've got those drivers, little crescent wrench, utility knife that I showed you in the knife video, and then these basic Cobalt wire strippers. Now, the theme about this bag is it's basic cheap stuff. Even for our drills and like Sawzall and stuff, we don't use DeWalt, we don't have Milwaukee. Why? Because they're expensive. It'd be cool to have those, but they're not necessary. We just use the Craftsman Homeline series. They've worked, they're hard to kill, and they've worked, like I said, they've worked out for us. Then, over on this side, I've got a plethora of vice grips. I probably don't need this many vice grips. Yeah, I've got 3 small ones, a big one, and then a needle nose. These work good for clamping things off, and I don't know. I probably don't need this many, but you end up using them all if you really try. Up here, wire nuts, and I've got the Lennox pipe cutter. Works really good, gets through pipe really fast, and the blades are holding up really good. Yeah, and that's one of these fun benefits of this magnet thing is you can go around, work on something, throw it down there, bam, you've got it. Same thing with vice grip. Oh, I need a vice grip, I don't need it anymore. Bam, it's right there. So I've got tubing cutters, like I said, wire nuts, a basic hammer, 16 ounce. It works for all kinds of stuff. We have a 3-pound mini sledge in the truck in case we need it, but this is like 16 bucks. That's all you need. Oops. Plethora of big Craftsman adjustable wrenches. I forgot what that was called for a second. Like I said, nothing super fancy. We have pipe wrenches in the truck in case you're doing gas line, but you'll want some of these because you can use these for about anything. And that's one of the things that this toolbox is really good for. It's rather universal. You can do almost any home repair with the tools that I have in here. Now, this is not you don't have to have this exact one, but this is something that's really important. If you can, get yourself a good field piece. I did not buy this. My boss got a brand new one and he gave me his old one. This is really good for testing electric, for seeing if things are hot, checking voltage, current, amperage, and this is really good for heating and cooling because you can check the capacitors for microfarads. A lot of testers do not have that ability, so you can see if a run cap is bad or not. And then in there I've got a temperature probe. So that's always in there. There's this thing, it's a Cobalt adjustable multi-socket thing. I have a love-hate relationship with this thing because it's heavy and it's awkward and I don't use it a whole lot, but there's times where I'm so glad I have it because it's extremely useful in random situations. Down here, batteries, tape. In the front, I've got the all-important and almighty plumb bob. We use these for doing skirting to make sure that the track is straight. Just a basic plumb bob. I've got 2 in here. That must be my boss's. A bunch of these little Milwaukee markers like I've talked about. I've got replacement flints for the torches. I've got fin coils, or fin cleaners for A coils. One of my guys is leaving the house. I've got a pair of Lennox tin snips. These are really good for cutting sheet metal. You can use an angle grinder. Don't have an angle grinder. Don't need an angle grinder. Tin snips are good as long as you use them for cutting sheet metal only. We have destroyed a lot of tin snips from trying to cut wire, from cutting metal that's too heavy of a gauge, and you'll destroy your crap. PVC tubing cutters. You know, wrench it down, cut through pipe. This is good for PEX, for plumbing, anything that jaw can get in, it'll cut it. You just gotta be careful because this thing's sharper than crap, and if you're not careful, you will cut pipe crooked. Now this is something that you don't really need, but I have, and this is a Panduit tool. So it's for tightening zip ties. You put an end in there and it allows you to ratchet it down, and then when you get to the end, you can cut off the excess. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, I don't have a lot of fancy power tools. When it comes to HVAC stuff, we just use normal gauges because I'm a poor boy and I can't afford all the fancy Bluetooth, iPad, nonsensical crap. All this stuff you can get at your basic local hardware store, and everything, like I said before, is going to be different for you. And there's always just random junk in here. I've got this little tiny flathead in case I have to get intricate with certain things. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Some random wrenches that never got put back, a random piece of pipe that never got thrown away, and just odds and ends junk that's floating around. So that's a basic look at the my everyday carry tools. And like I said, these are not just specifically for HVAC. You can use this for carpentry. All you need is a square, which I've got in another kit in the shop over there, basic tool belts. But with this and with everything that I carry on me, that's pretty much all I need for any basic home repair, whether it be electrical, plumbing, HVAC, general carpentry stuff. Yeah, so just find what works for you. And if it don't carry it, because it's just extra weight. And something I'd be very cautious about is the bigger the bag you get, the more tempted you are to carry the more stuff. Because if you've got pockets, you're gonna go down that rabbit hole of, oh, I might need this, oh, I might need this, oh, I might need this. And you end up not taking your bag places because it's just too heavy to lug around. This thing's got some weight to it, but everything in here has a purpose. And like I said, out here on a homestead, or if you're going to do any of your own projects, you're going to need tools. Don't get wrapped up in the thought that you have to have all the fancy Milwaukee, DeWalt. It's not necessary. Find what works for you. Keep it simple. And if it don't work, get rid of it. And if it's too expensive, don't buy it. I like what Andy from Andy's Little Homestead said. If it's something that you need a lot, buy the best thing that you can afford. If you're going to use it one time, it's going to go on a shelf, go to Harbor Freight and buy some cheap piece of crap and burn it up and throw it away if it burns up. Just do your best to take care of your tools, and your tools take care of you. So that's my basic EDC setup, and obviously you can see them here on the back of the junked out truck. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or snide remarks, like all the fun people on YouTube like to leave a comment, like, subscribe, share this page, and thank you all for sticking around for the Farmstead Toolkit. Yeah.